years ago, Surfer hit the airways, bringing the sport of surfing from the pages of its magazine to television audiences all over the world. It's been a heavy swell. We've had all the hottest pros and all the biggest legends. I'm Laird Hamilton, and this season I'll be your host as we continue to carve the face of today's action. What are you waiting for? Let's hit it. It's year 5, and this is Surfer Magazine. It's a heavy lineup this season. Dr. Scott Jenkins returns with Planet Surf, where we'll take a hard look at the ocean's environment. This issue will follow up with the Blue Water Task Force. And for pure fun, we'll drop in on our concrete cousins, the skateboarders. And Sonny Miller's back. This week he heads south with Team Hobie and revisits Costa Rica. Don't go away. Year 5 begins right after this. For those of you that don't know me, let me introduce myself. If you've ever been to Hawaii, there's a good chance you may have seen me dropping in somewhere. I've been around the sport of surfing since before I could stand. Am I qualified to be your host? But I should warn you, surfing does run in my family. In fact, my father, Billy Hamilton, is best known as the premier style master. I feel very fortunate to have been raised in Hawaii, which has enabled me to do such a wide variety of sports. Sometimes people are so limited with sports because they're not in the area where they can do it at its peak. It's like you can't learn how to be a good downhiller if you're on bunny hills your whole life. It's just you can't, so it's real fortunate to be on all the downhills. We all know that our only limits are the ones we place on ourselves. For me, the ocean has always been a place to push those boundaries and seek new challenges. Last year, Buzzy Kerbox and I found one. We paddled the English Channel from France to England.
Channel. Peering over. But now, how cold do you think the water is, Laird? Wait, right now?
Yeah.
I don't think it's too bad. Maybe, 0. Brisk?
A little brisk.
I'm ready. I just hope I don't get run over by one of those things.
6 hours with Buzzy? What a nightmare. I feel that surfing has reached a plateau with the existing equipment. With the help of Nike's Aqua Gear division and my background in sailboarding, I think I can change that. Okay. It needs some work, but it's close. to admit this is the first time I've ever had to submit a resume to get a surf job. Oh, did I mention that I don't work when there's surf, snow, wind, or any other optimum condition? But we can negotiate that later. And as usual, references can be furnished upon request. Next, we'll be dropping in with Dr. Scott Jenkins and Planet Surf.
The U.S. government has no beach water quality monitoring program. Instead, they seem to be using surfers like canaries in a coal mine, waiting for the body count to see if the water is contaminated. Well, the Surfrider Foundation has taken a more scientific approach. Last season, we introduced a water sampling kit, which the Surfrider Foundation began distributing free of charge when surfers made incident reports of polluted water. Since then, surfers have used these kits to test more than a dozen beaches in California and Hawaii. The results have been disturbing. Roughly 60% of the beaches have tested at bacterial levels well in excess of government standards for human skin contact. On the sick list are some of surfing's most sacred places: Waimea Bay, Malibu, Rincon, and Doheny, where the water tested as much as 80 times above the government limits on sewage-borne bacteria. But the list also includes many state and local beaches, like Redondo, Imperial Beach, Coronado, Cardiff, Carpinteria, Seal Beach, Newport, and Laguna Beach, where future surfers come to discover the sea, their parents believing the government wouldn't dare let them be exposed to dangerously polluted water. But we've learned in the last year that our clean water laws are only selectively enforced, and that in most cases, no one even knows just what's in the water. Even when Surfrider discovered these beaches were polluted, we found the government to be slow to post warnings that might prevent further illness. So we're telling you now to be suspicious of any beach next to a lagoon, tidal inlet, or flowing storm drain, for these are the incubators for vast quantities of disease-infested urban runoff. Here, the bacteria dilute seaward, with the highest concentrations remaining well inside the surf zone. Think about it. For Planet Surf, I'm Dr. Scott Jenkins.
Don't go away now. We'll be right back. To get stoked in the old days, surfers got together to watch surf movies at a local theater. Today's home videos can make any living room an instant surf feast, if you've got the goods. Rhyno Home Video teamed up with Surfer to bring you a 12-pack of the world's hottest waves, taken right from our shows. For the audience, it's really a visual history of the electronic search for the perfect wave.
We tore around the world in search of perfect waves, and out there we encountered fun, friends, and adventure every step of the way. From the staggering beauty of Tahiti to the bustling inner city of Sydney, Australia, from the exclusive surfing camp of Tavarua in Fiji to the luxuriant tropical climes of Indonesia. All this to capture the surfing lifestyle as it happens out there on the road and the fabulous waves we found. Surf we found this year was in the South Pacific, places like French Polynesia's Moorea, with its swaying palms, friendly people, and the kind of hollow reef breaks that surfers' dreams are made of.
music, hot waves, hot riders, even if we do say so ourselves. But hey, don't take our word for it. A million surfers can't be wrong.
Targets and then getting on the waves. It's like sparklers on the 4th of July. So far, the skies are quiet, very carefully orchestrated in a variety of efforts to restore peace.
Air control is essential. Once we gain air control, and we certainly will gain air control, if it comes to ground forces, the air campaign and the ground campaign fits together.
Don't touch that dial. Surfers got more right after this. It's time to catch up with Sonny Miller as he files this week's Surf Report.
Costa Rica's legacy of peaceful democracy and perfect point waves has made it Central America's most prime surf spot. With 2 oceans to choose from, there's always a swell somewhere. But like most safaris, the problem is being at the right place at the right time. Take this trip, for example. You think I'd be riding this horse if it was double overhead? I don't think so. Ándale, let's go.
Costa Rica, getting there is usually more than half the fun. But when the long, grueling jungle roads lead at last to an unspoiled beach with a perfect point break, you'll remember what you really came for. You'd have thought we learned our lesson. 5 years ago, we almost got shut out. After days chasing Mario all over the country, we finally got lucky at a spot just south of the Nicaraguan border. A place we called Ollie's Point. This year we were on it. After some crafty maneuvering, we opened up our schedule so we could spend twice as much time. We touched down right on the 1st of November, the beginning of the surf season. But as we would learn again, nature and the waves could care less about our schedule. As soon as we got our boards loaded up, we started hearing the local surf reports. The Australian amateur team had great fire most of the day before, and if we hurried, we might just catch it. Playa Hermosa is a big, stormy beach break that's easily accessible from the capital city of San Jose. It's not hard getting into a heavy Hermosa closeout. The trick is getting out, a lesson that many surfers learn the hard way. The young Aussies found themselves undergun and running out of boards in this powerful shore pound. We heard it was reeling down the coast at Pavones, the legendary left point break, so we sped off into the Costa Rican rainforest. Through our many adventures, we have become seasoned off-road travelers. By the time we got there, the surf had dropped to almost nothing, and heavy rains had flooded the water with mud. Pavones, known for its 200-yard peelers, was little more than a sea of chocolate soup. And we were starting to hear that familiar tune, "You should have been here yesterday." Slogging it in the shoulder-high mush, the swell died completely. Just around the corner was Punta Banca, our last hope. Chances look good. Punta Banca is open to catch swells from any direction. Once again, someone was watching over us, and we had fun head-high surf every day. Costa Rica ranks as two of the funnest surf trips we've ever made. And this time we learned the secret. If we ever do go again, you can be sure we're just going to leave a day earlier.
Year 5 is underway, and we're on it. Next time, we're out to the North Shore for the Triple Crown issue. I'm Laird Hamilton, and for Surfer Magazine, I'll be back.